Here we go. We are in here by ourselves. Ethan, I look extremely either tan or red, and I'm neither. It's okay though.
I'll fix it.
It's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. But man, long week. It is hot out there, people. We are in Chattanooga, and it is staying well into the 90s pretty much every day.
Yeah, this sucks. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, so I went outside. We got rid of one of my old couches, went outside and was helping load it and was dripping in sweat in 3 seconds. So as an outside guy, I'm normal. As an outside guy, I don't like to be in the heat too much. It always comes around football season, my poor guys. I actually got a chance to meet up on Monday with two of my best friends from college, Nick Davison, who's coaching at UTC, and Don Cope. He was in town on business, so we got together, went to go eat, and then just kind of hung out for about 5 hours. So it was good to catch up. Nick just started football camp. He's coaching, so UTC is in camp, and they are predicted to win the SoCon. So good for them. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the season. Looking forward to getting down there. But nobody in studio today. It is just me and Ethan. Ethan and I.
Yeah.
And we're going to catch up.
We're going to catch up on a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure Ethan's been over there chomping at the bits to talk about some things.
Not necessarily. Guests are always more interesting than the shit I talk about. So.
Depends. It depends.
So let's just start from the beginning.
Sure.
All right. Last time we talked, we talked Loki and a few other things. We talked about Black Widow, but we didn't talk about Black Widow.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking movie, man.
I told you, it's a really good movie.
I actually rewatched it the other night.
Did you?
I was just like, you know what? I just want to like sit down and like actually comprehend a lot more of that movie.
I should probably do that.
There wasn't a lot missing in the movie from my first viewing, but it was definitely a good rewatch.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I could probably do that too. Is that your new favorite Marvel character in that movie?
No.
No, you didn't like Red Guardian?
I love Red Guardian. Red Guardian as a character is really funny. And I love David Harbour. He's just a good actor.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy him in the reboot of Hellboy, just because it wasn't that great of a movie.
I didn't watch it, so
yeah. I mean, but David Harbour in general, pretty good. Red Guardian, hilarious.
Fantastic.
Taskmaster, even though they switched up like the whole backstory of it, made it a little bit more, kind of like Iron Man, made it more meaningful and like plausible, I guess.
Right.
It makes more sense than just, and I don't know if I told you this, but Taskmaster's ability in the actual comics isn't like mechanical. It's literally, he has photographic reflexes. So if he sees somebody do something, he can mimic them perfectly.
Yeah, like Bradley Cooper in Limitless.
Yes.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, instead of like having a chip in his head that it's just a computer doing everything, it's literally just him like looking at something and being able to do it. What's funny about that power set, by the way, is how stupid it can get, because there's 3 instances that make it very funny for Taskmaster. There's one where he goes swimming, but he's never seen anybody swim, so he started to drown. There was he wanted to get faster and fight, I think, Iron Fist or Shang-Chi, one of the two, martial arts. So to get faster, he just watched clips of them fighting on fast forward. It's one of those like 60s, 70s comic book power sets that's just like, what can we do with this? Not a lot. Let's just make up some bullshit and make it interesting.
Yeah,
but
well, they did.
Yeah, Taskmaster was cool. I like Black Widow as a movie. ScarJo definitely deserved to get paid more. We should probably talk about that. That's
she's suing
pretty
him, right?
big. Yeah, that's huge. Scarlett Johansson, who was an executive producer on the movie, who also starred in it, obviously, is now suing Disney for probably millions. I would have to assume.
It was like 100 million is what I heard, yeah.
Because she, in her contract, which was probably written up before COVID, said, I want this to be an exclusive theatrical release, because I'm sure there were like whisperings of like, oh, they're going to do Disney Plus. It's going to come out before COVID starts, blah, 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 blah. All this and that. So they probably, actually Disney Plus released 2019. So she definitely knew, like, hey, I want this to be just a theatrical release,
right?
Because I think at the time probably streaming numbers wouldn't necessarily be counted as a box office,
right?
And she gets a bonus off of box office.
Mm-hmm.
I think Disney's only defense is saying that their box office numbers included Disney Plus $35 or whatever, but I highly doubt that because I'm pretty sure she probably should have deserved more money.
Yeah,
I can see that, especially how tactful this seems to have been. She seemed to have waited plenty of time after the movie came out and then dropped it.
Yeah.
Other people to note: Emma Stone for Cruella is also doing the same thing, which Cruella didn't really do that well. Black Widow didn't necessarily do gangbusters either. Let's be honest, but I don't think Cruella really has any real reason to be anywhere other than, Disney Plus.
You would think that would almost be just a Disney Plus movie, like a Disney original.
And I've heard from people, if you were able to watch it on Disney Plus for free, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Paying $35? No.
Right.
It's not a good movie.
Makes sense.
As well as, what's her name from Jungle Cruise?
Emily Blunt?
Yeah. So Emma Stone and Emily Blunt haven't confirmed to be joining a class action lawsuit or anything. But there are whisperings, just like everything else, rumors that Emily Blunt wants to join in, which I don't know if I think I sent it to you. Maybe I didn't. The Rock was asked about it, and he said he's fine with whatever they paid him.
Listen, dude, The Rock will give the perfect answer every time.
Yeah, which, to be fair, like, when it comes to The Rock, you're not just dealing with The Rock and his agent. You're dealing with, was it $7 Productions or whatever, or seven something? You're working with his production company.
Yeah. For
all of his stuff. So he's making his money no matter
I'm
what.
pretty sure he makes $20 million a movie no matter what. Not including the back end, which, by the way, Jungle Cruise killed.
Yeah. I've heard it. I've heard it is a great family movie.
It's a good family movie.
Yeah. It's not like, it's not something to, blow the block. It's not a blockbuster, I should say.
No, definitely not a blockbuster. It's definitely a family movie, but you can definitely see a crossover of just Rock fans going to watch it for The Rock. The Rock's not really the main.
No,
I've
heard a lot of interesting takes on it. I've heard a lot of people say it's very mummy-ish, the Brendan Fraser mummy. Like every character kind of just fits into the same storyline, which makes sense. I mean, that's
okay.
That's that sort of like hidden treasure with a curse, blah 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 blah, that sort of thing.
Okay.
As well as Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, I mean, Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean were both rides at the original Disney World.
Okay.
And they're making movies about them. It kind of makes sense,
right?
But I should also say neither of those critiques were negative. Those were both positives because the Mummy movie, great. I loved it.
So the way I thought of it was a family-friendly, female-led version of Disney doing Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I can see that.
That was also because obviously me and Marcus went the day it came out.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
I was a little upset about that. We actually went Saturday because Tia went out of town this past weekend, so it was just me and Marcus. We had like a little bro weekend. I'll talk about that actually real quick. So that Saturday morning, actually it was 3:35 p.m. So we went to the mall. He wanted to get some Michael Jordan shoes, not Jordan's. Michael Jordan shoes. I was like, buddy, they're Jordans. No, they're Michael Jordan shoes. Okay, cool. I said, why do you want Michael Jordan shoes? He looked me straight in the face without not breaking anything. He goes, because I'm not going to miss a shot with Michael Jordan shoes, Gunner.
He's not wrong.
And I was like, I laughed, and I was like, that's awesome. And I was like, wait a minute. If I get this dude these shoes, he's probably going to think he can run as fast as he wants to, whatever. He can do whatever he wants to in these shoes. All right, let's go pick. And he wants to pick them out.
It is literally like when you're a kid, if you get like new shoes, like Jordans. I remember kids when I was growing up getting like Air Maxes and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were just like, oh, yeah, I can jump higher. And I'd just be like, you're not really jumping higher, but you're more confident. Good for you.
Yeah. So let him pick him out. He actually picked out the original Jordan ones, which in like Bulls colors, which fired me up. So whatever. And it's tax-free weekend, so let's go. Discounts all day.
not?
So got that. And then we went to the movie, IMAX. I bought tickets literally a week before.
Yeah.
Okay. We have the best seats. We're in the back row. We're in the back row, right in the middle, 14 and 15.
Awesome.
Best seats. We
Yeah.
counted it, perfect.
Of course.
Already have the food ordered. We just got to pick it up when we get there. Everything.
Damn.
I love the AMC premiere thing. The $10,
Yeah.
best $10 I've ever spent my entire life. So
I told you, $10 for that shit.
Yeah, can't
absolutely.
beat that. Get up there, get our food. Walking in, they go, "Oh, sorry, theater 10 is down. So what we're doing is we're offering a seat to a different theater, same movie, same time,
Okay.
and we're giving you passes to the IMAX next time you come, 2 passes or whatever." And I was like,
Cool.
"Cool." But I also had to watch the movie in stupid vision instead of IMAX. All right. I mean, I paid for IMAX.
But you got IMAX passes.
I mean, I got the movie for free and IMAX passes. So I can't complain.
Yeah.
But I can.
Yeah,
So, I mean, Marcus loved it, but I was, the whole time I was like, this was great, but better in IMAX. But great, you know, but it is what it is. Movie overall, filled with one-liners, typical rock movie. However, it wasn't action one-liners. It was dad jokes and like cheesy dad jokes that ended up being funny. Like started out being like, ha, but then like towards the end were pretty funny. And there's one scene where the brother of Emily Blunt, I don't know who the actor is that plays him, but the brother plays a certain sexuality that comes out without them saying the words gay or anything because it's a kid movie.
Well, it's also going to be in China, so
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they
they
the
skirt around.
The way they phrase it was like, I could get in trouble for the people that I love from where I come from, something like that. And then the guy said something along the lines of like helping the rock out, or would you like for me to hold your? It was some type of joke like that, and the rock just kind of looked at him, turned his head like wrestling style, and was like, "No, I don't think I would like you rubbing on me whatsoever." They made a very gay joke, okay and funny, to where all the adults lost their minds in the theater because they weren't expecting it. But that was like the one moment
especially in 2021, you're not expecting a joke like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, nothing was said.
Yeah.
It was all on how you interpret it.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously every adult in there, just like me, interpreted it the same way. And like you could hear the kids being like, what is he talking? Why was that so funny? So it was one of those moments.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah. So that was funny. I don't know. Fun, cool movie.
Snake Eyes.
Wait a minute. Giovanni's in the movie.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about? Paul Giovanni?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the movie.
Giamatti.
Sorry, Giamatti. Yeah.
I was like, Giovanni. Huh?
Yeah, no, Giamatti. He's in the movie. It was a nice surprise. Yeah,
cool.
Pretty good. Yeah, but go ahead.
Snake Eyes. I did not watch it, but I did.
We'll hold off.
Yeah, I did look into some of the reviews. No spoilers, thankfully. But we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
How were the reviews?
Evidently, the reviews are pretty. As far as like just fans, pretty good.
Okay.
I have been able to like sort of critique my YouTube preferences so that I am not given anybody that's just like, oh, this movie sucks. Oh, this is a great movie. It's a Marvel movie. Like I have found the people that I can agree with, but also sometimes they have their hot takes that I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting.
I hate going online for reviews and ratings, but I truly think Rotten Tomatoes in the fan section is about as close as you can get.
Yes. Now, sometimes they do weird stuff with the fan votes and stuff.
Yeah.
But so far this year, I haven't seen anything that's majorly weird about any of the reviews that I've seen.
Like the Jungle Cruise, this was the highest rated rock film.
Really?
The highest fan rated rock film.
That's kind of impressive.
Like all the Fast and Furious movies were kind of in the 80s. And then the Jumanji movies were in the 80s.
Yeah. Jesus. I love looking at Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 37% tomato meter. But the audience score? 74%.
What's that?
The audience score is the fans.
For who? For what?
Oh, Snake Eyes. Sorry.
And that's about right, though. It's so it's like, what are the critics looking for? I'd love to know what that.
So I understand why Rotten Tomatoes can be so diametrically opposed. Because fans are looking at, did I enjoy this movie? Most of the time, if you pay for a movie, you're going to at least enjoy it at a base level.
Yeah.
Unless it's like just straight up terrible garbage. But the critics, because they usually get it for free, they're not necessarily bought in on, oh, I like this movie because I paid for it. They don't have any, input on having to watch it.
Gotcha.
So when they watch it, they're usually looking at how well were the characters acted, how well was it written, how good is the story, is it just schlock, is it a family movie or is it an action movie? How does the writing interpret on both sides, that sort of thing. So I understand like some critics just have to do their job and they're just going to tell you it's a good movie, but it's not it's a well-made movie. It's not a good movie. Or it's a good movie. It's just there's a few spots here and there that probably could have been taken out, or it could have been shorter, stuff like that. Like very like minutia details that not a lot of fans are going to think about.
It's almost like they're going in with the scores at 0 and you got to figure out a way to make it go up.
Yeah. And whereas fans are going
in at 100 and you got to figure out a way to go down.
Yep. And that's why if a movie is 35% and then 75%, it's usually probably a good movie.
Yeah.
But when it's like Captain Marvel, Ghostbusters 2016, and it's like 98% critics and then 17% tomato audience score, maybe there's some disconnect. It's like Venom. Venom I loved because I love what's his name? Tom Hardy.
I liked Venom for sure.
And then you look at the audience score and it's decently high. I think it was like 70s as well.
I could definitely see how 7 out of 10 people like that.
Yeah, but then critic score was like super low. And you're just like, okay, sure, whatever you say. It was fun. It was worth the money that I paid to go see it. So at the very least, I liked it. Something else that's coming out, and it's actually coming out on HBO Max day and date. The Suicide Squad.
And when's that coming out?
Tomorrow.
What?
Yes. I'm so excited. James Gunn evidently has been asked if he's worried about review bombs of like fans like, oh, we hate this movie, we haven't even seen it, review bomb. He's been asked if he's worried about that. He's like, I'll live if it happens. Like, that's the exact response you should have. Because the internet's the internet.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are... The audience score has not... I don't even think ratings have even come out for it yet. Like, nobody's seen the movie. Well, I think some critics have, but not a lot of critics have even seen the movie. Yeah, like let alone the audience.
They've only done like a few showings.
Yeah.
And like that's in the big places.
And so many people on a certain side of the internet are saying, oh, they're just review bombing it. All of the toxic fans are review bombing this movie that they haven't even seen. And how would you know? There's no reviews out yet.
Yeah.
So, but I've heard from a lot of people that have been talking about it. They're super excited. It looks like a great film. I love Idris Elba. John Cena's in it, and I could have probably dealt without him, but Peacemaker, the character he's playing, is hilarious.
Plays a great character.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone is in the movie.
He is. Yes, he's Killer Shark.
Yes.
I forgot about that. New friend. Oh god, dude. I've seen so many of the new trailers leading up to this.
And the fact that like The Rock and the Shark, I mean not The Rock, but John Cena and the Shark are like buddies.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fantastic.
And like the thing about Suicide Squad is the first one they did, you had Killer Croc, you had Harley Quinn, you had Captain Boomerang, you have Katana, you have all these characters that are weird, but they're still kind of the surface level, like DC characters. They're the B-list villains, right?
Yeah.
But now you have this one, and it's like D tier. It's polka dot man. It's Nathan Fillion plays a character that his power is literally just his limbs detach and they float.
And there's like a weasel in it.
Yes, there's just a character called the Weasel.
Yeah. He's just a cute little weasel. He's not dangerous. Well, he did kill 21 children, but he's not a problem.
Not dangerous. I love that because that just means James Gunn actually did his research to find these strange, unheard of villains to make them anti-heroes and hopefully superheroes by the end of it.
Yeah.
But they actually, get to go out and save the world.
Right.
So I'm excited. And Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, she's talked about like this is probably the last time she plays Harley Quinn for a while. And that's okay. Like you've done what, 3 movies? 2 of which bombed, 1 of which hopefully is going to be good.
Yeah. And now the Birds of Prey was not very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's be honest. Find me an all-female led cast is very, very good. Okay, sorry, what?
I mean, here's the thing:
if it doesn't have Meryl Streep in it and Meryl Streep and Jennifer Aniston, and you give me all those people, then
I would love to see like a movie of like Meryl Streep, Betty White, and the lady that plays Mrs. McGonagall from Harry Potter.
Yeah, and call it Golden Girls.
Yes, it's just the Golden Girls, but a movie, and it's modern. It's just Betty White again, and then modern actresses.
Yeah, it'd be great. How is she still alive?
I don't know. I think death is afraid of Betty White.
She's what, 95?
She's like 98.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Hold on,
and still there.
This.
Like
she's hilarious.
Yeah, she's still there.
That's the thing about Betty White that I find very.
Like she's still doing commercials and some movies and some.
She's 99. Next January next year, she'll be 100 years old.
So she'll do something next. She'll work next year.
I think so.
Yeah, no, she will, because why would you not work at 100?
Yeah.
Look up how many 100-year-old actors we've had.
I don't think there's any.
Clint will be the next one.
Yes, Clint Eastwood is definitely. It's like Betty White, Clint Eastwood, Kirk Douglas.
How old's he?
He was born in 1916.
What?
Oh, 27 famous people who've lived to 100.
No.
Not necessarily if they were.
I need to know people working at 100.
Yeah. I don't think there is.
She'll do it. She'll be the first one.
Yeah. I hope that's like the one thing.
I hope that's Golden Girls.
Dude, it'd be awesome.
How has someone not done this?
It's just it's Golden Girls, but it's like a sequel, like movie. It's like what we wanted the Friends reunion to be. Like
yeah, they should do Betty White. And she's in a nursing home, and the kids of the other ones come to visit her.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's like Meryl Streep, who's very old.
Yeah.
No offense, Meryl Streep, you're a treasure. If you ever hear this, please don't think.
Oh no, you're one of the greatest female actresses of all time.
Of course.
Yeah.
But no, like that would be hilarious. I would love that.
That'd be great. Like her, Sharon Stone.
Yeah. Moving on though, that movie that I sent you, Mad God. I looked into this thing, man.
Okay, first of all, I didn't know if it was a movie or a video game.
It is a movie.
I was down either way.
Of course.
But
it looks awesome.
Obliteration would pursue.
Yes.
I don't know what happened in that.
So here's the thing. It's made by Phil Tippett, I think, who was a stop motion artist, I should say. Like he's kind of like a CGI expert nowadays, right?
Okay.
But back 30 plus years ago.
Okay.
He worked on the original Star Wars.
Okay.
He did the miniature work for Star Wars, but he also did like the AT-AT scene on Hoth in Empire.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot of stop motion animation, which takes a while, obviously. It's a very grueling.
So that's like, let me tell you, that's like if you had 2 action figures and you're just like, take a picture now, take a picture now, and then you at the very end, it's a motion picture.
Yes.
Okay.
So think about this. Standard movie is 24 frames per second. And it's roughly 2 hours, give or take, 30 minutes here or there for a stop motion movie.
So call it 2 hours times 24.
Yeah. Well, no. It's 24 times 60 times 60 times 24.
Oh.
And you're taking that many pictures and putting them all together. That's the level of stop motion we're talking about. So like Nightmare Before Christmas, Kubo and the Two Strings, anything by Leica, because that's Kubo and I think Paranorman and Frankenweenie, stuff like that. They're all really well-made movies, but man, imagine sitting there and imagine making those figures first. You're actors, basically. You're making them, and then you have to make each different iteration of them speaking. So you have to have all the different mouth movements in a singular position, and then flip out the head, wait a few frames, then flip out the head. Like that is who I couldn't imagine. I would love to try and work on a stop motion picture at some point, but I don't know if I could do it.
I challenge you to do a minute.
A minute stop motion?
1 minute of stop motion.
I'll do those like
Check me out. 1 minute of stop motion Greek god modern day thing that you
I
want.
was on.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that would be God, that would actually be really cool. Thank you.
Yes.
But Mad God, it's his new movie. I think he's put out like 3 or 4 parts of this movie separately at like film festivals over the years.
Okay.
But this is the culmination. This is the full thing put together, and it's taken 30 years to do. And it just looks weird, and I love it. It looks like I don't even know how to explain it.
So it's almost like he's got plenty of money. He don't care about it. This has been a passion project that he was like, you know what? It's going to take me 30 years to do. We'll put it out 10 years at a time, and then I'm going to give it to the entire audience in 30 years.
Yeah. I can respect that. And again, I don't even know like what the closest theme to call it. Like it just looks like a grotesque horror weird thing. It's almost like, did you ever see Watership Down or like any of those weird like 80s animation movies that are probably not made for kids but were licensed to kids?
No.
It's like those. It's like a movie that if you watched as a kid, it would probably have scarred you for fucking life. Like it does not look like a kid's movie. Yeah, just watching the trailer was.
Yeah,
ugh.
I mean, just getting through the trailer was like,
what the fuck is going on?
I mean, I couldn't tell if it was a video game or I didn't know what I was looking at.
God, could you imagine a video game made to look like it was stop motion?
Ugh.
That'd probably actually be way easier. Now that I think about it.
Probably so.
But yeah, so that's the film portion of this. The Olympics are going on. We haven't really talked about the Olympics. Yeah.
You want to talk about Simone Biles?
No.
Yep.
I mean, well, we can.
Let's go.
So, I don't know if you know this. I was talking to Chris about this yesterday. So, Simone Biles, she's obviously probably the best gymnast we've ever seen. I would argue
she has done things that no one has ever done.
Yes,
and she's the only person that can do
them. She's one of the best gymnasts. How about that?
Absolutely, she's
one
of
American.
the top 5 ever gymnasts. Yeah.
Yeah. She goes to Tokyo this year, and she gets up there. She does one attempt at her set, and then when she fails, she gets off the stage and leaves. I don't think she was disqualified or anything. She just said, I can't do this. I need to go. Mental health issues, whatever the story was at that time. I just can't do this. Which
the story was, and the perception was, mental health, which means don't talk about it. If you do talk about it, you're canceled. It's brave of her.
See, I don't necessarily think that's true. At least in the circles that I follow, talking about it. A lot of the people that I listen to said, sure, she may have some mental health issues. Like, you get the twisties, and that's what they call it. Like, you are the best of the best, and even the best of the best can get the twisties of just like burnt out. I've been doing this for however long. She's not even that old. She's like what, in her mid-20s?
Yeah.
Not even maybe.
No,
she may be my age. If I'm being brutally honest, I don't even know.
I'd say she's early 20s.
Simone Biles is. Can't even find her Wikipedia. There we go. Let's see. Simone Biles is. Oh my God, she is my age. She is 24 this year. So yeah, I can see it from just being me. Like if I were at the Olympics and I was the best at my sport, after I don't know 3 Olympics, maybe I'd get burned out too.
Yeah.
However, that does not mean I'm going to just get off the stage and just leave. Who knows how much money was spent getting her there, rooming her, getting her ready, food, accommodations, all of that stuff. That's a lot of money. And unless you're paying it yourself, which, I mean, let's be fair, if Simone Biles is making as much money as we think she is, she could have probably just paid her own ticket, sure. But let's be honest here, she didn't.
If she makes any money, it's not through the Olympics.
Yeah.
They don't get paid. So she'd have to make money through endorsements.
But that's what I'm saying. She's Simone Biles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Simone Biles is in the trilogy of well-known Olympians.
Yeah.
It's Simone Biles,
Michael
Usain
Phelps.
Bolt, Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
They're 3 of the best athletes in their sport in the world.
They're head and shoulders above the Olympics.
Yes. And this is where the story gets a little muddy from what I've heard.
I hope you're going where I'm going.
Evidently, again, I don't know this for sure. Nobody really knows other than the judges, Simone Biles, and her team. But I've heard that Simone Biles, because she is so good, because she is the greatest at the Olympics every year she's competed, she gets treated at a different level than even her own team as far as scoring. That's why she has to do all of these super dangerous stunts that could legitimately injure her for the rest of her life. Because nothing against Simone Biles when she's doing her fucking thing. Because I couldn't do that.
Sure.
I don't know anybody that could. Even the gymnasts that I know, they all say, I would never attempt that.
Yeah, well, nobody else can do it.
Exactly. And so when you hear that sort of thing, that rumor, I am a little bit more, okay, that makes sense. If I was going to be scored differently than literally everybody else in my competition in the world, and I have to keep pushing myself even further and further and further just to make equal scoring as everyone else, what's the point? I am the best. Give me the score of the best. Someday I'll retire, and that's when you can worry about who's the next best.
Sure.
Don't worry about who's the next best now,
Sure.
because we know who it is.
Sure.
Simone Biles.
Yeah.
And then she comes out and says that her aunt died or something. I don't know.
Sure.
But
No.
I just think...
You ready yet?
Let me finish my point.
Okay, go ahead.
I just think if you're going to the Olympics, if you're representing your country,
Sure.
you're going to fucking compete. You're going to finish whatever competition you're doing. And then afterwards you say, you know what, I think that was my last one. And you know what? Everyone would probably 100% respect that.
Yeah.
Even if, I would even say if she did her best but still didn't win because of that handicap that she was given, I would still say everyone would be still supportive of her.
Last day she did. She got bronze.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you got? What do you got? You've been biting your tongue. I can see it.
Anybody remember what the first episode was on this show?
Addiction?
What was that addiction?
Adderall?
Go back and listen to that first episode, people. If you haven't listened to it, go give it a test trial, because it's about to get real quick, because you're talking to one that was one. Simone Biles in 2016 was given a medical exception for her prescription medication that she's been on since she was a kid, which is very similar to Adderall, Ritalin, and Forceline. All are ADHD medications.
Okay.
And she's been taking them for a long time.
Got it.
Nobody knows when she started getting prescribed it. There's no medical history on that, but she says for a while. All we know for sure is that she was taking it in 2016 Olympics when she absolutely gymnasted out of her mind, whatever that word might be. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
So yeah, 4 gold medals, 2016.
Of course.
On performance-enhancing drugs.
Okay.
That was
fair enough.
Allowed due to her medical condition.
Okay.
Well, fast track, Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah.
Performance-enhancing drugs of that sort are illegal.
Oh.
You're not allowed to take any type of ADHD medication because they don't believe in that type shit in Japan. Also, because that's what they gave their kamikaze pilots when they bombed Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, I think they know a thing or two.
Yeah. All right. So them and Hitler been giving out Adderall. It's called methamphetamine for a long time. All right.
Okay.
So Tokyo said, hey, you're not allowed to take that drug in our Olympics because that drug's not allowed in our country.
Which is their prerogative. I'm not even going to argue with that. That just makes sense.
Sure. The only thing that you can be prescribed certain ADHD medications, but they only subscribe it for people with sleep disorders instead of a modafinil or something like that. Okay. So Simone Biles, for the first time in her career, as she got there, about a week before the Olympics started, wasn't allowed to take her drugs. All right. So now you've got the best Olympian on the planet in her respected skill or sport going through withdrawals halfway across the country, performing on the highest level of stage you can possibly perform with the expectations of doing things that we've never seen before. With judges that are going to potentially handicap her. That's not 100% sure fact, but it has been said that they were going to handicap her or at least judge her based on what she did in 2016, which she'd have to do the exact same thing to get that score or better, which I think is fair. I think that should have been the case on everyone. Should have just been scored lower and she should have been scored the same, but whatever.
She is the bell curve.
It shouldn't affect her. It should affect everyone below her.
I think so, yeah.
But so that hasn't been brought up.
No.
And the only way you know about that is Russian hackers.
Of course.
Yeah, they pulled up her medical records from the 2016 Olympics.
That's interesting.
Found that. And
where were the
it wasn't
2016 Olympics?
Rio.
Okay.
So it wasn't Adderall, but it was Ritalin and Forcilin or Forcilin or I don't know what that does.
The third amphetamine.
Yeah, I don't know what that one does, but whatever. So so you can't claim mental health when you're taking the number one performance enhancing drug mentally that you can take.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do that. I was on Adderall. I loved Adderall. I didn't have ADHD. I said that I think everyone could have ADD or ADHD, whatever you want to call it, when you're doing something that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
When you do something that you want to do, nobody has ADD or ADHD. You just have fun doing what you want to do.
Exactly.
All right? Nobody has, if you're extremely hungry, you're not going to be so ADD that you don't eat the food that's in front of you.
I've always had this theory, and this just goes back to like the way I think about what in modern human interaction is just instinctually built in, right? So for me, to me, ADHD isn't like a mental disorder. It's your brain actually just working correctly.
Yeah.
To me, it almost feels like I'm gonna use video game terms, but it's like when you growing up, you figure out what you want to do subconsciously, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you eventually just your brain hardwires in a certain way that you're supposed to do something, and if you're doing anything else, you're looking for a way out to do
the thing you want to do.
What you're supposed to do subconsciously, of course.
Sure.
Because I say that I wanted to be a cook, and I could be, and I love cooking. But if I'm doing anything else, well, I just want to go home and cook.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like subconsciously, you find it's finding your dream job.
Yeah.
You don't know that you want your dream job until you have it, really, a lot of times.
Yep.
And even then, sometimes a job that you didn't think you'd want may end up being your dream job.
Yeah.
It's all subconsciousness and stuff like that.
So
anyway, that's a different.
I don't know about mental health. I will say that I feel her. Yeah. I absolutely didn't want to get off the couch for a week, so I 100% understand that she probably didn't want to be in front of everybody in the world performing at the highest level, trying to do something that no one's ever seen before.
But let's be honest with your shit. Come on.
Yeah, and I understand her excuses of trying to not let that be known. But now that it is known and it's out there, I don't think that there's a reason to hide from it. And if anyone wanted to be a great voice for the ADD, ADHD, mental health, Adderall, Ritalin, Forcilin, Vyvanse community, maybe it's the greatest Olympian to ever live. But don't be a little bitch and blame it on I was sad. I was sad and I might have killed myself. You might have killed yourself walking to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like nobody's promised tomorrow. You could die in your sleep.
Yeah.
So
I that's what's always so fascinating to me when you hear like these stories of like, oh, she bowed out because of her mental health. That's technically true, But she's not talking about it.
Yeah.
She's talking about it in broad strokes.
Yeah.
To get the most attention.
Yeah.
But she's not going in and saying, "Hey, I have ADHD. I've been taking this medication for literal years, and I've been prescribed it by doctors. I'm not abusing it.
Yeah.
And now that I'm off of it because I'm in Tokyo, I'm having these issues, and this is a real problem that we need to fix in our society."
Yes.
If she came out and said that, she'd still get that much attention. But I think she's afraid of doing that because that means she has a weakness. Yeah. Nobody wants to be that vulnerable. Yeah. I understand it.
No, I do. But
so
you can't fall into this woke culture of mental health and like
mental well-being.
Yeah, you can't do that. I don't understand, because now you're giving all these kids that watch the Olympics, and they watched a young Black American best in the world gymnast
absolutely
go out there and quit because she didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And now everyone is going to think, you know what, it's okay to quit, because you know who quit? Simone Biles quit.
Yeah, no.
You might not be prepared for this sport. You're 7, okay? Like
you're 7. You're not mentally you're not mentally prepared for anything.
Yeah.
At 7. No, and that's what's frustrating is, I mean, I've come up here and for the chat with Ethan,
sure.
I was very vulnerable that first one. Just like I dealt with depression, I've dealt with this and that, and I've worked through it. But just quitting, that's not working through it. That's just giving up.
Yeah.
That's not pushing through and persevering. And that's what I've always done is just, hey, I've had I mean, here recently, I've had a couple really rough days of just like waking up, realizing that not everything's coming up Ethan here lately.
Right.
But I pushed through it. You just got to push those down. And one of those days I went to the gym and I literally just like lifted big rock heavy. I push.
There you go.
I just let the caveman in my brain just take over for half an hour to an hour.
You can do that.
And it literally, like, as soon as I got out of the gym, I walked out of that gym and I was just like, you know what? I'm not saying it anymore. Yeah. I did something.
Okay, all your endorphins were released.
Yeah.
Now you feel better.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So people are going to have different opinions. People are going to take her side. People are going to bash her. I'm not trying to bash her. I'm just trying to be real. You think it was easy for me to get up here and talk about Adderall addiction on my first show?
No.
Think I wanted everybody to know about that? Think I wanted everybody to understand I'm a junkie? Okay?
No.
Not to say that it was extremely bad and I was, losing a bunch of money and, stealing my people's stuff, but it was still an addiction.
Yeah.
Just like your phone can be an addiction, or porn can be an addiction. Absolutely. Or whatever your vice is. So don't let these people get off with the mental health thing. She's the greatest in the world, and she is on Adderall. Yeah. Maybe she's just not the greatest in the world off Adderall.
Yeah.
Which leads me to steroids should be legal in the Olympics.
I think we need to. Okay, I was talking to Chris about this. I've seen this a few times, but if I had enough money, resources, and time, I'd want to set up 2 separate Olympics directly after the Summer Olympics. One is an average Joe from every country. Like we set up a lottery with your security number in the U.S. and you get picked randomly.
And you gotta represent the country.
You represent the country in the average Joe Olympics.
So pretty much run, jump.
Yeah, you just pick a sport that you might feel like you could be good at, decent at, whatever, and you just do it. And then we just compare you to all of the Olympians that attended that year.
Sure.
Just to see where the average person of every country lines up with their Olympian.
Yeah.
That would be fun. And then the second one, directly after that, or at the same time, either one, you get steroids. And you take every single drug that is legal in your country or illegal. Dude, no holds barred here.
Yeah.
And then you compete and see what happens.
Or, check me out, you have the average Joe compete 1 year.
Yeah.
And then you get them juicing for a year and let them compete the following year.
Oh my God, it'd be like the summer versus the winter Olympics. You take the average Joe Olympics directly after the Summer Olympics. Yeah. And then you take 2 years. And in the winter Olympics, after those, you bring back the average Joes as the swole bros.
Yeah.
I like that. That's not bad.
Well, then you'd be able to see how much they improve
and
what steroids actually does to just an average person. Then you could imagine what it does to the elite.
Yeah. And I, unlike the Olympics, I would probably put like not a cash prize for winning, but just like at least a participation amount. Because, I mean, you're spending 3 weeks there.
Sure. And also, Sha'Carri Richardson, everybody that wants to, and listen, I was definitely on the bandwagon of she smoked weed, who cares?
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it didn't matter. She could have took her best time of all time, and she wouldn't have been on the podium.
Damn.
And guess who was on the podium?
Who?
3 people from Jamaica.
Of course.
What's one of the smallest countries of representation in the Olympics?
I will say this. Let's move into the wholesome stories from the Olympics, because there's a lot of them.
I don't know.
There's a 13-year-old or a very young woman who did skateboarding in the Olympics, which I find very interesting. I've found a lot of the like very weird, strange sports that get put into the Olympics because of all the memes that have been coming out.
Yeah.
But she back probably a decade ago, she posted a video on YouTube of her skateboarding in a princess costume.
When she was 3?
Yeah, she was like very young.
Yeah.
And she like landed a kickflip off of a table or something like that. And Tony Hawk retweeted it. Fast forward to now, this year in the Olympics, Tony Hawk's her coach. And she's in the Olympics.
Wow.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet right there.
There's also, I don't know if you've seen the meme. There's this chick. I think she's
wrestler.
She's American. No. I'm thinking of the shooter, the sharpshooter.
Oh, no.
She, like everyone else in the background, you can see it even though it's like out of focus. They're like holding both hands on the gun and they're like kind of doing the very natural, like trying to sharpshoot with a pistol. This lady, hand in pocket, one arm stretched all the way out and is just firing away. She wins gold. Because she's laid back and she's just that cocky about it. And evidently, like, people looked into it and because people were like, why is she doing it like that? That's not how you hold a gun. And then they just, somebody links a picture from like the 1850s of sharpshooters that are literally just one-handed, fully extended, outstretched, firing. And that was the Olympics that year or something like that. I just find that very, very funny. Last one. Tokyo has outdone literally every country ever in hosting the Olympics. I think I sent you this. I don't know if I did.
I didn't watch it if you did.
They made a traditional kimono, made traditionally, I mean that, for every single country that competed. The America, Canada, Ireland, West China.
For each participant?
For each country.
Okay.
And it just basically represents like their country and like symbols from the country. Like Madagascar, I think, was there, and it has like a lemur on it or something like that. They even had one for sorry, got corona. They even had one for Taiwan, which I find was very interesting, especially with
very
the
nice of them.
Political climate of today. I don't think they named it Taiwan. I think they named it whatever the Chinese government calls Taiwan. But a lot of people then took China's kimono and then just scrubbed over it and then wrote West Taiwan. Because that's a lot of people nowadays, especially again with the political climate as it is with China and everything, people have been memeing China and just saying that it's now Western Taiwan.
I'm sure Z, or his name is, loves that.
Xi Jinping, Winnie the Pooh is what I call him.
Oh, okay.
Because people say he looks like Winnie the Pooh.
Gotcha.
It's fucking hilarious. But no, Japan made America's kimono, and it's like rolling mountains and like rolling hills for the Midwest. And then on one sleeve, it's like super dark and black, and there's just a blue eagle. It's freaking awesome.
That's cool.
I love it. And yeah, like evidently Tokyo Olympics have been just very welcoming, very hospitable, a lot of hospitable, a lot of hospitality. And I mean, let's be honest here, it's Japan. Japan goes overboard on literally everything they do.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But it's just, wholesome stories from the Olympics. Yeah. After the Simone Biles one.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good. What else?
Do you want the shit show that has been the internet this past week?
Sure.
All right. This is gonna take the rest of the time.
I've been so busy at work, I don't know any of this.
So, here's the thing: there is this person on the internet that has been basically, everyone agrees, is the most historically recorded person ever. Their name is Chris Chan. It's this weird person that just started posting on like 4chan and message boards all over the place, and somehow has become the most recorded person in history. Just everything they do is found, and they then somebody posts it on the message boards, and everyone goes there and laughs. I should say that this is all like trolling people trolling this person, and not bullying, but just like having a laugh at their expense. And they don't seem to be very perceptive to it. So brief history: Chris Chan is a high functioning autist. They have autism. They are very weird. They don't get social cues, obviously, like many autistic people do. But they have this thing with the character Sonic and Pikachu for whatever reason. But just those two characters. They're really into that character. Okay? So the beginning of the story of Chris Chan is that they started a webcomic called Sonichu. This is where it gets weird. This is the weird internet, man. This is some strange things. So Chris Chan starts this webcomic, and it is very poorly made, and it is very poorly written, and everyone just looks at it and laughs. Again, this isn't something you feel sympathy towards. This is somebody you see and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's super cringy. Like it's really bad.
Okay.
So fast forward, X, Y, and Z things happen. Chris Chan is brought up every once in a while. Nothing major. Like one time there was something about GameStop, and Chris Chan walks in and is asking for a specific game or something, couldn't find it, and throws a tantrum or whatever. And their mother gets involved, Barbara, and it's just this odyssey of all of these weird events that, again, it just everyone on the internet kind of finds out about and then reposts, and everyone finds out eventually of just like all of these stupid things that have happened in this strange person's life.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, this person comes out as trans. So now instead of Chris Chan, they're now known as Christina Chan or Christina, or whatever. I don't know. Fast forward to 2021. All of these weird things have been happening. This person has posted like in the comic Sonichu, they've done like these weird. There's a self-insert character, and so any problem that Chris Chan was going through at the time would come up in the comic, and just they'd put themselves as the hero of the situation, and whoever was the bad guy is the super bad guy and gets defeated, blah, 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 blah. There's always been this thing of trying to find love. This high-functioning autistic person just wants to find love. You can relate to that, sure. But will it ever happen? Probably not. Because of how cringy they are. And so, I'm going to keep this as PG as possible, because what happens in 2021, only like 2 weeks ago, is very not PG. Come to find out, this Chris Chan person, who is now Christina, is carnally knowing their own mother, who has dementia, and admits it to one of their only friends, who is just keeping tabs on them just to make sure nothing goes too crazy. Well, things went super crazy, and evidently Christina is a trans woman who had relations with their mother, who has dementia. And it has legitimately blown up. Everyone's just like, holy shit, what the hell is going on? And so Twitter, the cesspool that it is, had a hashtag going over the weekend that is just, who is Chris Chan? And if it was anybody else, maybe you could skip out on a lot of this random information that's just weird, of this cringy person that has been recorded over the past 20 odd years on the internet. But no, it's Chris Chan, the most recorded person in internet history, comes out, and you see all of this happen, and it's just I've seen so many like comments and questions on like 4chan and all the places that on the internet that I'd go to look up all of this stuff, and people are asking who's Chris Chan, and it's just like, you don't want to know, don't ask, don't tell them. I shouldn't know, but I do know, and it's because of you. Don't tell them. It's just madness. And there's a lot of people. I won't say there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people still defending them as far as the trans debate, let's say. This person came out as they have transitioned. But when you do a heinous crime like that, I feel like there's a point where it doesn't matter. You're an it at that point. Kind of just a scummy person that probably should just be buried underneath the jail. It's madness. And it's, again, it's one of those things that, and to use an internet term, it's a lol cow. LOLCOW. It is somebody that just doesn't have the wherewithal to understand that they're being laughed at, and they just continue to do whatever it is that the internet finds funny. And you know what? Good for them. Like, at least it's not like bullying where like they feel, terrible about it. Evidently, Chris Chan just doesn't understand that. It doesn't process through their brain.
So when you say the most recorded person on the internet,
like legitimately, I won't say that everyone knows who Chris Chan is, obviously, because a lot of people are wondering who Chris Chan is now.
Right.
But every instance of something happening with Chris or Christina in the news or in at an event like Comic-Con or something like that, anybody that sees Chris Chan will immediately say, "Oh my gosh, it's Chris Chan." That at least knows them, and then it gets passed around, and then everyone knows, and then everyone finds, it's one of those things that in the right circles you can legitimately find from the point of birth to where they were yesterday, sort of thing. Like it is a very weird saga.
He's got to be, or whatever, has got to be born since 2000.
Oh no! This person's like at least 40.
Okay.
I know, right? Because, and again, this goes back to the most recorded person ever in history. They found a video of a Sega competition at like a local game store, and who would you see but a little Chris Chan with their full name in like the subtitle or whatever, and people saw it and they're like, "Oh my God, is that Chris Chan?" And come to find out, it was. And it's this weird saga of like domino effect of this happens and then this happens and then this happens, and eventually they had relations with their mother who has dementia, and you're just like, wow, that took a turn. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're currently in police custody awaiting trial, and there are a lot of Better Call Saul memes of like, "My name's Saul. How can I help you today?" And it's just a picture of Chris Chan. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're getting buried. I can't do anything here. I'm sorry."
Yeah, that's a very strange situation there.
It is. It's one of those things where I think maybe there may be a generational gap here, where I find this interesting in the, again, cringy, laugh at it, looking back at it sort of thing. But then you get to, the recent things that have happened. You're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And to you, it's probably just like, why is this weird person even mentioned anymore?
Well, no, it's just like, it's crazy to think that like that's what the internet has done.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily because, not everyone on the internet all at once was like, we're going to follow this person. This person's weird.
No, it naturally happened.
Yeah, it just naturally happened because the person was that weird and cringy.
Whew.
It's so, and there's a lot of videos out there that are very, very good at documenting the early parts of this saga, and then everyone's talking about the new updates now.
So it's pretty much a random person that's got their entire biography out online.
Basically, yeah. Like drama, there's a wiki drama or something like that for like internet celebrities and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it is, I think, the longest article because you can just write out basically everything. It's
Wow.
fascinating. Down the Rabbit Hole has a really, really good video. He makes good videos in general, but
Yeah.
he does like internet historian, just like, or not even just internet, just like historical.
It's a great channel name.
Oh yeah, Down the Rabbit Hole. Because let's be honest here, anytime I say like, oh yeah, I was on YouTube and I went down a YouTube hole, that's what I mean. I went down the rabbit hole of Chris Chan, or Deep Blue was one of the last videos he put out.
Yeah.
Deep Blue is the chess machine that was trying to become the best in the world, and it's the saga of like winning against that the Russian chess world champion at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, they have a Chris Chan video from 3 or 4 years ago. So I think he said that he's gonna try to do a new video to catch everyone else up on it. But I don't know. I don't think I would want it. It's one of those things where it's like, when you do videos like Deep Blue, oh yeah, you're still a regular historian. But when you do a video on Chris Chan, it's like, oh man, it's like going into the depths of the sewers and just trudging around finding all the random shit that you can find.
No, you're right.
I don't think I would want to do it. It's just a lot. I'm sorry.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And that's the #1 trend on Twitter. That's strange.
And that's what's strange, because a lot of this stuff kind of just goes under the radar, because it's internet. It's not normie. It's not normal person stuff. Like anything you would find out, no offense, is just like it's the baseline level of the internet, right?
Well, unless I find an interest.
Yeah. And then you go down the rabbit hole.
Yep.
But this is like, if we were to make a internet iceberg, not even like deep web or anything like that, but internet iceberg, you've got like all of the main stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have like 4chan, you get Reddit and 4chan kind of mixed in. You get 8chan and all the weird message boards, and lower. Chris Chan is like underneath the water at the very least. So not a lot of people know who they are.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely brought up like the trans debate of like, okay, this person says they're a woman, but has done literally nothing to do so. They just grew out their hair, got fat, and attempted a surgery on their lower parts and was botched, evidently. It's very weird. It is terrible. This person loves to overshare, definitely.
Well, it's like the trans person in the Olympics that was in the weightlifting and they didn't even medal. They didn't even catch a snatch. But
listen,
it's literally an overweight dude with a ponytail.
Yeah. Listen, if you are a trans person that has been on, CRT or whatever it is for literal years, you're trying your best to present as the gender you mean to be, and you can get to the Olympics, good for you. Do I think there needs to be any special precautions for you?
Yeah.
Just to accommodate you? No.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you going to go out and probably beat all the competition? Probably. Let's be honest here. If you're a male to female transition,
you should.
But I guess that story basically just kind of blows all of that, hubbub out of the water, because obviously they didn't even really do that well. So
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was definitely just an average. It was an average Joe.
Yeah,
that got that's overweight.
Oh, I want to do this.
Grew out a ponytail, and dyed their hair black terribly, and they're just a dude.
Yeah,
but I think in the 2024 Olympics, I guess that's when it will be. I don't think it'd be 2025. It's got to be 2024. Just 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But for the trans people, they're going to. You have to have been on an estrogen conversion or an anti-testosterone cycle for it 2 years prior to competition.
And I think that's fair.
Yes.
Because 2 years, you're more than able to do that before the Olympics. You have 4 years. You could do it now. You could do it in 2 years, or you can do it in, I guess, 1 year now.
There you go. A year to decide what you are.
But I think that's fair. And now, does that negate any of those prenatal testosterone inbuilt advantages or disadvantages you may have? No. Yeah. But if you want to compete, again, it's one of those things where it's not going to really hurt anybody except maybe their own pride if they lose.
Let me tell you something right now.
But
you can put me on 2 years of whatever you want to put me on, and I will go win gold in almost every women's sport.
Of course.
That is a sport, not a skill.
Exactly. And that's where, to me, again, we've always had this debate back and forth of, should trans women be able to compete in a sport, a women's sport, I should say. And let's be honest here. Again, this story sort of just kind of blows that out of the water, because just because you say you're a woman and you want to go out for, say, weightlifting or, a sport of any kind, does not mean you're automatically going to be better than anybody else in that sport. Because it takes skill. Well, it takes certain things to actually do it. So
I'm not I would never be considered a conspiracy guy.
Never.
But
what are you talking about?
The conspiracy guy in me has heard some rumors and read some articles.
We'll talk about it off the air. We don't need to talk about it.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
That the girl guy, the trans weightlifter, threw the competition. So you go and look at how he caught all 3 snatches.
Yeah.
He just had to stand up. The hardest part is catching it. You got to stand up.
This is weightlifting, right?
It's
the transition from down and then over your head, basically?
No. So that's a clean and press.
Okay.
Snatch is down, straight overhead.
Oh, God. Okay.
So it's here, pop, catch it in a squat, go up.
Okay.
So he caught all 3 in a
squat.
Stand
up?
Said stand up.
Didn't stand up?
Dropped it behind his back.
I mean, I feel like there is a point where if you can't stand up, you can't stand up. But I mean, you get at least try, right?
It was sketchy.
I wouldn't necessarily put it past somebody to do that, but I would want to know the ulterior motive, which I can think of 3.
Well, one is probably you don't die.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, you were in, and I'm pretty sure Japan won that event.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they won that event.
Okay.
So, I mean, there could have been some pressure there. You're dealing with Japan.
That is. Well, Japan, although has a sordid past, I'll say, I don't think they would do something like that. China, 100%. Beijing Olympics is in 2028 or something like that. I'll if anything sketchy happens then, I'll believe it. Yeah. Oh no. Beijing is Winter Olympics 2022.
Okay.
But again, if anything sordid and weird happens there, you're not gonna pull one over on me. I know exactly what's going on.
Right. That Russia.
Yeah. And that was Sochi last Winter Olympics. So I mean, yeah. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say Japan is that kind of country. Any other country, Saudi Arabia.
Can you be gay over there?
No. The Saudi prince is being.
No, I'm talking about Japan.
Oh, Japan? Yeah. No. Okay. Come on, Gunner.
I don't know.
Let's be honest here.
Hell, you just know it was okay to be gay around here. I don't know.
I mean, it was okay for a while.
Not really.
Well.
Okay, legally.
Yeah. I don't think there's any necessarily bad. The thing that you have to remember about every other country in the world, except a handful of dictatorships, they don't care about sex as much as we do. They don't have hang-ups.
Can't be gay in Russia, right?
Yeah, definitely no.
Okay.
Again, that's
North Korea.
North Korea probably definitely not. China, I don't think it really matters. I don't think they care because they only want you to have one kid anyway. So.
Oh yeah, that makes sense actually.
But yeah, no, Japan I don't think has any stigmas about any sort of sexuality in general, because let's be honest here, America again is one of the only countries that really has this major of a hang up on sexuality and sex in general. Like, I mean, you go over to Britain, they don't give a shit. They'll talk about fucking anything over there, except if you want to have a license to watch your TV or whatever. Britain's weird.
A license to watch your TV.
We'll get into that next time.
Oh, wait a minute, real quick.
Okay.
You see where in New York, where the Statue of Liberty is, you're going to have papers to go eat a hot dog?
What?
You're going to have to show vaccine papers to eat in restaurants.
Of course.
Yeah, so gyms, restaurants, movie theaters.
Listen,
inside.
I just feel comfortable here in Middle America in Chattanooga. We're far enough away from Atlanta. If say something happened, it's probably going to come up this way, but we can just lay low for a little bit. I feel like the New York and LA, these coastal cities that are run by very corrupt people. Let's just say that. It doesn't even have to, it doesn't mean like any political party, but if you look at Bill de Blasio, you look at Gavin Newsom, you look at Cuomo.
Won't be looking at him too much longer.
Yeah, no, we won't. Good, because he killed 15,000 people. Oh, and he has a lot of allegations of sexual impropriety.
Yeah,
like that's the more important thing than 15,000 old people are dead because of him.
Yeah,
priorities. But yeah, no, these coastal cities, let them do this is the libertarian me. Just let them do what they want to do.
Sure.
Let them burn themselves to the ground.
And if you want to live there, stay there. If you don't, leave.
Yeah. If you want to leave, I am more than happy to welcome an ex-New Yorker into my house to be like, hey, if you need some time to get, a job, get on your feet. Like a friend that used to live in New York, and they were like, hey, I need to get out of this town. Yeah. Can I come down to Chattanooga? I'd be like, hell yeah. Just, you can crash on my couch, just find a job, pay rent if you have to.
Right.
Move out eventually. That's fine. But don't vote the same way you voted when you were in New York.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy that brings these politics down here where we're doing just fine.
Right.
And then fuck everything up for us too. Like that's what's going to be very interesting in 2022, because we have all of these things about the 2020 election that everyone wants to argue about. That's fine. Argue if you want. I don't care anymore. What I'm thinking about is 2022, what can we do to make up for what has been happening even just the past 6 months?
Well, 2022 will be the worst year.
Definitely.
And then it'll get better after that. As long as they get stop talking about all this stuff.
Maybe. No. That's the thing. We're in 2021 and we're still this charged politically. It's only going to get super worse, and I don't necessarily think it's going to get all that much better afterwards. But, if people listen, if people pay attention this time, maybe. Because, Kamala Harris is the lowest liked vice president of all time. Joe Biden's approval rating has tanked like a missile from orbit, just straight down. It's it's almost like a reverse of election night.
Right?
Yeah. So
yeah, what's his numbers?
I think his approval rating the last time I saw it,
tell me it's in the 30s,
was lower than 40.
That's really bad.
Joe Biden approval rating 2021. 1 day ago, his due to COVID-19 concerns, his approval rating falls. It is sitting at 46% as of a day ago, which fair enough. Trump was at 46 out the gate when people first had him be their president, and he rose up to, I think it was like a solid 60 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't quote me on that. I don't know specifics.
No, I want to say he was one of the highest.
He was one of the highest of approval ratings.
Yeah. Let's
be honest here, though. When you look at those numbers, you have to understand that one place, Politico, might say 60%. Another place may say 52%.
Sure.
These are all very weird demographics. It depends on where you're going. Yeah. Depends on who you're asking.
First of all, whoever answers those questions are idiots.
Whoever. If you're doing it telemarketer style, whoever answers those fucking things are already idiots. Yeah. So,
like, I can tell you, I've never even seen a poll, been offered a poll, or even heard of a poll to decide on what I think the satisfactory rating should be for a president.
Exactly. And there's no real clean way of doing it unless you took all of these places, all of these websites, all of these news channels, all of these everybody's, put all of their numbers together and hope you don't have multiple overlaps of, this person got asked by this person and this person and this person. Take into account maybe like a 3 to 4% differential between the two numbers. And if you add all of those together and then you come to a conclusion, just maybe, you'd get an accurate representation of the country. Who knows, though? Probably not. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been here for an hour. I didn't actually expect to talk that long.
Listen, man, we get this thing to a sweet science.
Of course.
Sweet science.
We're good at this.
So people that I have lined up.
Yeah.
Got him Billy something. He is the promoter of Valor.
Okay.
Promotions, I believe.
Okay.
So my buddy Aaron Smith, Sloppy, works for the fire department over in East Ridge. Listens to the show every time.
Nice.
He's buddies with him. He's going to get him in contact. He gave me his number. He said he's down to do it. He had a fighter fighting at Madison Square Garden over the weekend.
Awesome.
He was up there. So going to get him on. We're going to catch up with DeMarcus soon. I'd like to get Avius maybe and DeMarcus in here because they can get me in contact with Ryan Martin. So I'd like that to happen.
I've got a guy. I think he's supposed to text me either this week or next week. Same guy I talked to you about before.
MMA?
I think, yeah, the MMA guy works out literally at the same gym I do now. So I saw him up at Anchors, actually. It was really weird. I didn't think I'd see anybody I knew up there.
Right.
But I told him, hey, man, I know you're fighting. I know you're decently good at it. Come in, even if you don't have necessarily a fight coming up. Come in, just talk to us. We'd love to talk to people.
Sure.
He was like, "Oh yeah, I've got a fight in September."
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hopefully before September he hits me back up.
Okay,
we'll get him in.
So we'll get him in, and then we got Chris Baumick and his buddy that's wanting to come in and tell some Super Bowl stories.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we got some things happening. I've got to wrestle tomorrow. Southern Honor. The Rumble Jack, I'm in it. Don't know what I'm doing. Don't know what's happening. Don't want to ask. So I'm going in there to do that. It'll be fun. That's it for now. 12-point logistics. We are hiring. I'm hiring a sales team, and I'm looking to hire 3 to 4 people. We've been doing interviews for the last 2 weeks, and I think we have a good idea, but we're going to do this every quarter. So every 3 months, we're looking to bring on a new group, a group of 3. And I'm trying to find 3 more me's. And then I'm trying to teach those 3 me's how to go find 3 more me's. So we're in growth mode over at 12-Point Logistics. If you want to come over there and interview, make some money, you can email me at G Miller, that is my first initial last name, at 12-Point Logistics, spelled out. Okay? It's not the number. That's not the symbol. It's 12-Point Logistics, spelled out with an S at the end of logistics. So hit me up. We've interviewed about 15 people. We've kind of got narrowed it down. I'd like to interview 20, though. So we got interviews lined up for the rest of the week, but I'd like to get some more people in there. It's a great chance to make some money. So come on in, check us out. We're in Saudi. We are actively looking for office space closer to downtown Chattanooga to become more marketable and more of a recruiting haven for the logistics space. We're trying to make our run, make our growth. So our goal right now is to be a $50 million company. This year we'll be hitting $15 million. And we started started at 0 3 years ago. So that's the goal. We're going to hit it. We need people to do it. We need people from Chattanooga to do it. So come on in. Do everything you need to do. Like, subscribe, YouTube, comment, iTunes, go to it, review, Spotify, click on it, watch it, listen to it, whatever you want to do. Really appreciate you guys. We're coming up in about 2 weeks on the push to try to hit that 1,000. I believe we're slowly rolling up on 800. So hopefully we do that. I think that we will. If not, we'll hit it within the next 9 months.
Yeah. It's fine.
So I think we'll let everybody know middle of the month what's going on. Other than that, we'll catch you here next week. I'm sure we'll talk some more trash, bring some more insight, and maybe even have a guest. So You never know, but we're out of here. Appreciate you.